Hey, everybody. Good morning. Welcome into the Farzy Show. My name is Marc Farzetta, and this is the Steven Singer Studios. That's what we enjoy here. So much to get into today. As a matter of fact, we got Phillies conversation. We got Flyers conversation to get into. We got Saquon Barkley being burnt by, I think, a 6-year-old. So that's fun. We got all sorts of stuff. We're going to lead it off with the Philadelphia Phillies because they just, oh, man, they got me excited. Here's what they got going on for me. Oh, by the way, obviously, Happy Hughes Day. Can't go any further without saying Happy Hughes Day. Hugh Douglas III will be joining us a little bit later. I am flat out, I am tickled pink is what I am. I'm tickled pink with for the Phillies right now. And they didn't even play yesterday. The Mets actually won yesterday. They won a baseball game and stuff. That was a marathon game that we'll get into a little bit later. Marathon by today's standards, that is. But the Phillies right now, 2.5 games out of first place as they were idle last night. But I am flat out excited about the Philadelphia Phillies. And why is that? Because we are here in July. We are here in July 20th, as a matter of fact, is today's date. And I am just absolutely thrilled for the second half of the season to get underway tonight, when the Phillies get that underway. Now, why am I so excited? What has happened here? Well, the Phillies have won some baseball games, as we've highlighted yesterday. But the other thing, the almost more important thing, is kind of what that winning does. It propels you to a spot to be buyers at the trade deadline. And Dave Dombrowski flat out said it on the Takeoff podcast with our friend John Clark of NBC Sports Philadelphia, that the Phillies are not going to be sellers. They are not going to be sellers. They are in a buying type of mentality right now, as they damn well should be. Now, you might say to yourself, why does this matter? The GM saying what he's saying, or not a GM, excuse me, president of baseball operations, saying that the team is going to be in a position to buy. Why does that matter? Don't you want him to have that mentality? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it was just a couple of years ago you heard from Andy McPhail. And Andy McPhail was like, if we don't make the playoffs, if we don't making the playoffs, if we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. If we don't, we don't. Making it so accepting to not make the postseason, as if it's become the norm here in Philadelphia, which unfortunately it has for the past 10 years. But Dave Dombrowski, a guy that's won a couple of World Series rings, goes on with our friend John Clark and says, oh, no, I'm sorry, did you say there's a potential to be sellers? Ha ha, John, you're hilarious. We're going to be buyers. I love that. And not only do I love that, I love the stories that come out because, as per usual, where there's smoke, there's fire. And that's exactly what I think is going on right now with the Phillies and Dave Dombrowski and the potential moves that are out there. You're hearing potential about Kimbrel coming to Philadelphia. You're hearing potential about Chris Bryant coming to Philadelphia. Buxton coming to Philadelphia. Starlin Marte now possibly coming to Philadelphia. All these names, it's just good to have your name mentioned when it comes to acquiring these talents at the Major League Baseball level. I can't wait for things to get underway tonight. I can't wait to see what the Phillies do from this point on, and I have a great feeling about it. And I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was about 3 years ago, Matt Klentak actually had some pretty damn good acquisitions. None of them panned out, unfortunately. Wilson Ramos was here in Philadelphia. That was a good acquisition. Asdrubal Cabrera was a good acquisition. They actually bought and added guys to this lineup, and I thought, oh, my goodness, they're going to make the playoffs. Look, how about this? This Phillies team's going to make the playoffs for the first time in forever. This is going to be great. And now they're in a situation where they could add legit talent to a lineup that, when healthy, is a pretty potent lineup. And when you look up and down this order, you think about how much time Didi Gregorius has missed. Gene Segura has missed. Bryce Harper has missed a lot of games already this season. And you think about that for a second, and you go, oh, wait a minute. Just now they're starting to hit their stride at this exact time when they're supposed to have the easiest schedule for the rest of the season in all of baseball. Oh man, where's the dinner bell? Where's the little triangle? Come and get it. It's all here for the taking for the Phils. And you know what? You don't have to just take my word for it. It's a 32-minute interview with John Clark and Dave Dombrowski, Phillies president of baseball operations. And John gets into the conversation. He covers the whole gambit, really, even including how to make the game more appealing to the younger generation, which I always feel like is a conversation with baseball that it annoys the hell out of me for a lot of reasons. But we'll get to that in a second. First, the good news. And the good news is when John says he throws a fastball right over the middle for Dave Dombrowski, and he asks him whether or not this team's going to be buyers or sellers come the July 30th trade deadline.
I'm going to throw a fastball right over the plate. If the trade deadline is tomorrow, are you a buyer or a seller?
Well, I mean, when they say we're not selling, I mean, we're not in a position where we're looking to move players off our team. Now, if you're in a position and anything can happen in 10 days or 2 weeks, I mean, if all of a sudden, and I don't like to take this scenario and don't think in the next, if you lose 10 games in a row, well, that might be one thing that's a little bit different. Or if you win 10 games in a row, it's a little bit different. But we're in a position where we're in this, and we're going to try to make our club better here over the next time period.
Come and get it! You shouldn't be that excited. I shouldn't be that thrilled. But this is the first year of Dave Dombrowski. And it's not a if we don't, we don't. It's a we're gonna be some. What are you, crazy? John, you. Yeah, no, that's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear from a president of baseball ops, that you're going to be buyers at the deadline. You go ahead and you get me. Buxton, I'm not as bullish as some people on, just because it's one good year and it's like a lot of spot starts, injury, whatever. It's not exactly a complete back of the baseball card, as you might say. But other guys that you're talking about here, I mean, Chris Bryant, if you go out there and get Chris Bryant, I'll go down there and hey, Dave Dombrowski, you need a back rub? You need anything? Can I do anything for you? I'll be your runner for a week. I don't know. I'll help you out any way I can. Chris Bryant, to me, is the ultimate. That's the guy that you want on this baseball team. And throw out all the feels when it comes to him and Bryce Harper and their history and all that. I just want somebody that can play all over the diamond, more or less, and a guy that can hit between 280, 300, and hit you 30 to 40 home runs in a season. That's why I want Chris Bryant, is because he's a damn good baseball player. Is it a nice extra added bonus that Bryce Harper's here? Of course it is. But man, if they could get Chris Bryant, I would be over the moon excited, not just for the Phillies this year, but for what the Phillies could be doing in the not too distant future. That would be the cherry on top. Obviously, making the playoffs is the big deal here, but Chris Bryant obviously puts them in a spot to be much more likely to not only make the playoffs, but also win the NL East. And I can't remember the last time we talked about that. It's been far too long. I love the interview that John did with him. It really is good. I recommend checking it out later today. A couple of things that really jumped out to me, though. The one thing is the argument that always happens here with Major League Baseball. Well, first off, I already mentioned that when the lineup is together, it's pretty potent when guys are healthy, and Dave Dombrowski spoke about that a lot. But the other thing he talked about was the last question John asked him, and it was about Major League Baseball appealing to the younger generation. I'm sub 40 years old. I'm 38 years old. And I have always been a baseball first guy. And as recently as like two weeks ago, I was telling you how I'm trying to still convince myself that I'm a baseball first guy when all the other sports have gotten, basketball especially, have gotten, here in Philadelphia at least, a lot more interesting over the last 10 years. So I'm thinking about this I'm like, why do we always talk about making baseball more appealing? And it's because we haven't made it more appealing. It's because Major League Baseball has not made itself more appealing to the younger generation. And it's like that Steve Buscemi meme of him walking in and being like, "What's up, fellow kids?" You know, when he's got the backwards hat and the hoodie and he's carrying the skateboard over his shoulder. That's what baseball is to me right now. It's always trying to reinvent itself, or at least talking about reinventing itself to become more appealing to a younger, shorter attention span audience. It was that way for the MTV generation. It is certainly that way now with the social media generation. Bottom line is baseball has to expedite the process of playing its own game. And that's, in all honesty, why I don't hate the runner on second rule in extra innings. I don't hate that. I know a lot of people hate it. Oh, it's not stupid little league softball rules, whatever. Yeah, I'm fine with it. You know why? Because baseball realized that a sport's not good enough to go on for 17 innings anymore. Oh, hey, we have this sport that's taken forever. What should we do? Let's make it longer. Cool. No, it's a terrible idea. But Dave Dombrowski spoke about how he doesn't mind the extra inning rules as they are in place right now, so we'll see that probably continue. But as far as the 7-inning rules or 7-inning doubleheaders, that's probably going to go away. I think Manfred even said that the other day. But Dombrowski talked about pace of play as the thing that really mattered, and they're going to see how these other things test out 20 seconds in between pitches in the minor leagues, automated strike zones, all that stuff. They're going to see how that stuff plays out in the minor leagues before they bring it to the major league level. One other thing that he did mention was at the time of the interview, Ranger Suarez was pretty unstoppable. And unfortunately, obviously, blew the save since the interview happened, which is unfortunate. He talked about how they can improve, how he talked about how they got to improve the bullpen. And that's an obvious thing. And really how this is another thing in today's world, how they have encouraged their players to get vaccinated. And I didn't realize that the Phillies provided information to their players. They had a presentation for their players, and they said, hey, basically, we'd like you to get vaccinated. And some players are still saying thanks, but no thanks. I thought it was very responsible of the Phillies to at least show the players, hey, look, and I know that there are people that have been vaccinated that have still gotten COVID, and you should know going into it that the vaccine isn't a end-all, be-all to not get COVID-19. But when Dave Dombrowski talked about it, he talked about how they tried to educate their players the best they could and hope that all their players would get vaccinated. That in light of Aaron Nola obviously saying that he's still not ready after he went into COVID protocol, still not ready to get vaccinated. So that's where the Phillies are right now with all of that. I'm glad they at least provided information to their players, including booklets and a presentation. And they're going to let their players make their decisions. So we'll see how that goes for the rest of the season. But again, just couldn't be more excited to be a Phillies fan right now, going into the rest of the season with that being the attitude of upper management. The president of Baseball Ops, Dave Dombrowski. Definitely worth checking out that podcast. Can't say it enough. Cole Hamels, one thing he did touch on with Cole Hamels was they did their due diligence with Cole, and they'll see where he's at. Just based on that one statement, he did say he threw the ball well. Again, I told you 88.5 miles per hour is what he maxed out as. But Dave Dombrowski did say that if you ask Cole Hamels whether or not he's ready to pitch in the major leagues right now, the answer to that question, even by Cole, would be no. Still, if somebody signs Cole Hamels, I hope it's the Phillies. I hope that obviously there's a couple of teams that are bidding for his services to make you feel a little bit better that you're not the only one going, hey, maybe Cole Hamels still has it. So if he does sign with a major league team and he's good enough to be back in Major League Baseball in the next month or so, then I'm hoping that team that he does it with is the Philadelphia Phillies. If not, then it's been one hell of a career, Cole Hamels. Today is a special day, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a very special day. When you're walking around today, when you're going about your business, when you're on your way to work, when you're at the office, whatever, you're sitting in front of your computer at home, getting ready for your day. When you're watching this right now, I just want you to take a moment, and I want you to wish a very happy 25th birthday to one Benjamin Simmons. Today's Ben Simmons' 25th birthday, and just scrolling Twitter real quick. I believe the phrase is zero chill. I believe the phrase is zero bleeps given. And that's how Philadelphia fans are when it comes to Ben Simmons' birthday. Now, as I pointed out to you last week when we were talking about the ESPYs, you can't blame Philadelphia for the way the ESPYs, a national television show, handled Ben Simmons, saying he builds orphanages with all the bricks that he lays. Points for originality there, fellas. But I can't look at Ben Simmons right now and say that you have a 25-year-old, and if you're in the NBA and you're another general manager, and I come to you, and this is similar to an analogy I made for you last week. If you're 25 years old, if I'm coming to you as a GM, you're the GM, and I want to make a trade, and I say to you, hey, I got this guy, all right? Runner-up Defensive Player of the Year. He's always one of the top defenders since he's been in the league. He's a 3-time All-Star, and he's a great facilitator. 6'10", right? Allah Abdenabi said runs like a gazelle, right? And he's a great defender. I said that. He's a great facilitator. Great facilitator. That's one. He's tall. He runs fast. That's all good. He's only 25 years old, and he just turned 25 years old. You want to make a trade? Oh, I'm sorry, real quick. He'll never shoot. That's it. That's the only thing. Everything else is pretty good, but he won't shoot. Oh, and in the playoffs, won't shoot goes to even less won't shooting. Like there's more won't shooting, not shooting. There's less of whatever he's doing during the regular season. There's less of it going into or in the playoffs. So he's 25 years old, a 3-time All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year runner-up, and all this other stuff. What do you say? I think you would say, rewind a little bit for a second. Just go back for a second. He won't shoot. What does that mean? Does he can't shoot? Oh, no. He totally can. We see him do it all the time. And you just wait. In a little bit, he's going to be posting the topless photos of him shooting jump shots in the offseason. So he totally can shoot. He just won't. What do you think, huh? We got a deal? No, hold on. No, hold your horses there, fella. You want me to trade for a guy. All the other stuff sounds great, but won't shoot. How's that even possible? Why haven't you cracked that code yet as to why he won't shoot? I don't know. Just won't do it. All right, I'll give you Dame Lillard. Like, that's where I as much as I want Dame Lillard, I try to put myself in the other general manager's shoes. And even though Ben Simmons just turns 25 today, I'm not just saying, oh, yeah, slam dunk of a deal. Let's make that happen. There's going to be a lot of other stuff that's going to have to go along with that Ben Simmons deal if he does get moved. And I am still on par with our friend Michael KB, Michael Kasky-Blomane, who joined us yesterday from CBSSports.com, who said that it's a lot more likely for Ben Simmons to be traded at the deadline in the upcoming season as opposed to Ben Simmons being traded in the offseason. The one thing that goes against that argument is that you then have to remake your team in the middle of the year. Going from a facilitator to somebody completely new running the offense, that'll be a little bit more difficult for a team to make that adjustment. As we saw when they made themselves over when they traded for Jimmy Butler, when they traded for Tobias Harris. It was like 4 different teams that you had to coach and put together that entire season, and they still made it to within 1 win of a Eastern Conference semifinal. But I still think it's more likely for them to be traded during the season than it is for him to be traded before the season. And the number one reason is if Ben really does come back in with a jump shot, with an expanded game, actually shooting the basketball, then I think not only will he be more valuable, but you're also less likely to get rid of him at all. And I think the Sixers are willing to give it to the very last minute before they just give up on Ben Simmons being anything here in Philadelphia. Let me tell you about my friends. Oh, and of course, in the comments, let me ask the question that I'm sure a lot of people are asking today. Other than a jump shot, what would you get Ben Simmons? I know what I'd get him. And that'd be like a coupon written on a little index card like you did for mom or dad on Mother's Day when you're like, oh, crap, that's today. And you just wrote out, we'll take out the trash 5 times, even though it was already your chore to take out the trash, whatever. So that's what I would. Shooting lessons from Herb McGee. I'd write on a little index card to give it to Ben Simmons for his birthday today. Hey, by the way, happy 25th birthday, Ben Simmons. Hope you're rocking out some Call of Duty. Hope you're at some awesome tennis tournament with some lovely young lady. You know what? I hope that you're enjoying. I saw you post some pictures the other day of the house out there in Los Angeles that you bought. It looks beautiful. And, you know, I hope you're enjoying your time out there. Let me know if you need any help with the, what do you call it? The post digger? Is that what it is? Post hole maker? So you can put I can help you. I helped my dad when I was a kid. You can put the basketball hoop in right in the driveway and you're set. You're set. Yes, I'm still hung up on that. Let me tell you about my friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Maybe Ben Simmons needs to go to Steven Singer. Treat himself a little bit. Steven Singer, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right in Philadelphia. Steven Singer has been taking care of Philadelphia for over 40 years. Finding someone you love, finding someone you want to spend your rest of your life with, that can be the easy part compared to actually going there and trying to buy a diamond somewhere and haggling and going through that big process. It's too difficult. It's too expensive. I don't want to do it. Steven Singer takes all those excuses you're making, fellas, rolls them up, throws them out the window, says the heck with that. Come see Steven Singer at the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right in Philadelphia, or at IHateStevenSinger.com. Steven guarantees every single day the perfect price, so you know you're not getting taken advantage of. You're getting treated like family at Steven Singer. You walk in, a team of real jewelry experts are standing by to walk you through the entire process to make sure you feel as comfortable as possible. So you don't have to worry about the guy next to you, whether or not he's paying more or less than you, the person next to you, whether or not they're paying more or less. You just go in there thinking about what you want to buy and the person you want to buy it for. And Steven Singer's real team of jewelry experts will be standing by at the ready to help you out along the way. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com, always with fast and free shipping. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. the other corner of 8th and Walnut. Do what I do every day, the perfect price at Steven Singer Jewelers. Today is a beautiful Hughes Day morning, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, let's jump on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line and talk to our good friend, Hugh Lamont Douglas III. And joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, our good friend on this happy Hughes Day, Hugh Lamont Douglas III. What's up there, Hugh?
What's going on, family? How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much. So you got your 92.9 to game on.
Yeah,
You just give us some promo there? Absolutely.
Shameless plug.
I have to say, one of the last times we spoke, you were wearing an Atlanta Braves t-shirt. Something I didn't notice until it was pointed out to me after the fact. You just had the big A on there. And I'm like, hey, my man's got to cash a check, bro.
No, you know what it is, though? I just like the A. It's because the A here stands for Atlanta. I mean, well, obviously the Atlanta Braves, but it's like, the moniker just living here is just, you'll see people all the time with A's hats on or something like that. It's one of those things where, say if you're wearing a P, the Phillies, you know what I mean? Because you're from Philadelphia.
Damn right.
Same thing, because, I got a ton of Philly shirts, too. I know I'm kind of like one of those individuals that people see it, they're like, hold on, what the hell is he doing? But, I mean, I just like T-shirts, man. I like T-shirts.
You have always had an affinity for T-shirts. That's for damn sure.
Graphic tees all day long. I got so many T-shirts, it's not even funny.
Yeah. Hey, I want to ask you this question because I think about this because you're the first athlete I really got to know in the broadcasting industry. And I'm always curious with this new news that's out there about Peyton Manning and Eli Manning taking over a broadcast, an alternative broadcast to Monday Night Football on ESPN. Like, if you could go back to like maybe the last game or last day you were officially a Philadelphia Eagle or officially in the NFL, if you could go back to that last day before you got into the broadcast business, what would you tell that young up-and-coming broadcaster, as you would later find out, about getting into a booth, whether that be radio, the analytic point of view? What would you tell that young football player?
It's funny. I had a close friend of both of ours, I would say, in the radio business, kind of give me kind of like, the scoop. And I would say that was Howard Eskin. And
really?
Howard said, man, listen. He said a lot of guys get in the booth, and they try to use these big old words and try to be, this, that, and other. He said, be yourself. He said, that's what this is trending towards. Just be yourself. And that's what I was. I found out early on that that's not what I wanted to do because there are people that want to hear the ins and outs, the X's and O's of the game. And I knew immediately that was not my strong suit. So I never wanted to do that because it was just, to me, it was boring. You have certain guys like say Ike Reese. Ike Reese to me would be great in the booth. The way that he analyzes plays, the way that he studies the game and things of that nature, he would be great in my opinion in the booth. Me, I'm more of a personality. I like to have fun. I want to talk about the game from a different perspective that make people think about it, it's a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do that. I never wanted to wear the suit. I never wanted to sit up there and break the game down for anybody. I just wanted to have fun and talk about the game from almost a fan's perspective. So that was nothing that I ever had a desire to do.
Hugh, what do you think should have happened on this play? Well, I just would have went after the quarterback.
Yeah, hey, basically get after it. Like I want to say stuff like, play, he has that want to, and he just has that mentality that, all this other stuff, just talk about the game. I guess you would say on the fringes and not get really into the minutia of it.
Right.
I never want to do that, man. Shout out to Tony Romo. Even though he's a Dallas Cowboy, he does a tremendous job of breaking down the game and things of that nature. Like I said, I think Ike would be great at that, but that just never was my calling.
Yeah. Would you have rather been like the Tony Saragusa guy on the sideline?
Yes, I would have definitely liked to be that. But as you see, the sideline reporters have gotten a lot slimmer and way more attractive over the years.
Such is true. It's funny you mentioned you on a suit or in a suit. You didn't want to be that guy. I don't know why this is such a vivid memory for me. And this was before we knew each other. It was the last game of the season against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it wasn't the conference championship game. It was week 17. And I think you were maybe I think you were a sack or two away from reaching some incentive in your contract
Whatever you're talking about, yeah, with the last game of the season.
Yeah, and I'm looking over and you're on the sideline. I'm like, they're screwing Hugh Douglas here. But you had a nice like zoot suit type thing going on there.
Yeah. Oh man, I wasn't. No, I was. It wasn't. It was. That story has always been way more than what it was. Publicized or whatever. It was way more. It wasn't that big a deal.
It's been exaggerated, as you're saying.
Yeah. Basically, that's the word. Those big old words. Sometimes they're hard to find. And broadcast, I can't find that word. Then I just look on television. I just look stupid.
Right.
So yeah.
What's your opinion? What's your prediction for the Manning and Manning, I guess, simulcast of Monday Night Football? How do you think that's going to go?
I think it's going to be great, man. I think you're talking about two guys that love the game of football. I mean, not like I don't, but they are immersed in football. I remember a cut. I guess it was when Denver was in the Super Bowl, and you remember they had the cut of Eli in the booth looking like with this perplexed look on his face, and they were wondering like, what is he doing? And Eli basically said he was trying to he was looking at the clock. I think it was like 2 minutes left or something like that. And he was trying to break down what could Peyton do in this situation to score. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl. And to me, I thought that was just really cool. It's some guys, man, that eat, sleep, and drink this game. And most of those guys are offensive players because there's so many different things and intricacies on the offensive side of the ball that change, like on the fly, that those guys, to me, are better suited for that.
Speaking with Hugh Douglas, of course, on this fine Hughes Day. When you were getting into the broadcast booth, in terms of a radio broadcaster, did you know that radio would be like right up your alley in terms of being able to have a lot of that personality with, as well as your experience in playing the game?
I think so because I had the pleasure and I was lucky because I cut my teeth with one of the best in the business, and that was Angelo Cataldi. And I can remember, like, Angelo Cataldi, like, to the people, you hear people say stuff like idiot, like he doesn't know what he's doing. But Angelo has the #1 ratings in Philadelphia and has had them for years because Angelo, he portrays himself one way on the radio, but he's totally different in that. He's prepared. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what angle he wants to take. And he's having fun doing it every day. Now, I will say that some of the stuff that he does, I didn't really agree with, but you couldn't have a better mentor to learn both sides of the radio business. Like I said, man, I was fortunate being in Philadelphia, and some people might call it toxic, the way that the radio is. I don't call it toxic. If you can do radio in Philadelphia with the fan base as passionate as they are, you could do radio anywhere. Like, I wholeheartedly believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that because, man, it's different. You're criticized on a different level, and the criticism is intense. And for me to be there for 5 years and be able to thrive in that business, I feel like there's not a place on this planet that I could do radio. I could do the radio in Islamabad if that was a real place. What language they were speaking in, what sports they were passionate about.
I would imagine cricket of some sort, badminton, maybe badminton.
First of all, Islamabad is not a real place.
I'm just guessing by the way you pronounced it.
Or maybe ping pong. Maybe they play ping pong.
Maybe a little ping pong.
Yeah.
I played ping pong and ding dang. Anyway, so here we are right now. We got like a week before players are reporting to training camp in Philadelphia. Do you get a little itch this time of year? Like, does your mind still work in that player mentality of, oh, wait a minute, it's kind of really muggy out right now? Well, although I don't know what it's like in Atlanta, but it's like, oh, wait, it's that time of year. Oh, no, I'm good. I don't have to do anything.
No, I get like that when it's time to, like as far as workouts are concerned, trying to stay in shape for what I don't know. Just trying to stay in these little clothes, trying not to get in the big clothes. You know how you got at that. I'm at that point now where you have one set of clothes for when you're overweight, and then you have the regular set of clothes. I'm trying to stay away from the overweight clothes. So
right,
that's where your mind goes. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing that for me is a little bit of a challenge when it gets wintertime, because that's when Coach Parcells used to say you put your winter coat on. You tend to put your winter coat on. So I tend to do that once the season starts. It's like that's when I tend to pick up weight. So I have to be extra cautious and extra conscious of that fact, because for whatever reason, when it comes to that time, August, September, October, that's when the pounds started to pack on like it did when I played. So, yeah, I got to be careful with that.
Gotcha. So right now we're in this weird time with Zach Ertz in particular.
Yeah.
I still don't think he's a Philadelphia Eagle by the time the season kicks off. I'll just say that much right now. But
wonder, though. It really makes you wonder.
It absolutely does. So speaking of that wondering that you're talking about right there, what do you think's going on between both sides when it's out there, man? It's out there that there's bad blood sort of coming from both angles. Both thought that this wouldn't be the way it is right now. What kind of is going on right now? A week out of training camp, what do you think's going on between both parties? What's that like?
I've never been a part of that, but I could imagine it could be tough for him because the emotional roller coaster ride that he's been on from the end of last season. Because this has been reported for weeks, and it has been reported that he didn't want to leave. It has been reported that they were looking to trade him. He hasn't been traded. I don't know why that is the case. I mean, I think he's still a really, really good player. And, him and his wife want to be in Philadelphia. And to know all of this and to have to potentially come back to the place that told you for months they did not want you there. Like, I think the best thing for Howie to do is to get rid of him. Because, man, I can't, listen, we're all mature and we're grown. But to look somebody in the face and have to see them every day knowing that they've been talking bad about you, I don't call me crazy, but that feels like that's uncomfortable. That feels like at any moment you might get punched in the face. You might get stolen on. Like, seriously, that's just like me talking bad about you and your family while I'm on the phone for months. And then we finally see each other and I just sit there and say, "Hey, Marc, how you doing?" Really? Hey, you ready? Hey, Marc, you ready to go to work?
Yeah, I can imagine that would be awkward.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Really awkward. And listen, I know that we as older men, we have to take the high road because it's so much bigger than the moment that we're in. But I would want to punch somebody in the face. Not condoning violence, but
no, of course not.
But to talk bad about somebody for months on end and to have to go back and see them, yeah, that's a tough one. That's really tough.
No, here's the good thing is that they've reportedly already had it out on the field dating back to last year. Zach Ertz breaks down in his last press conference crying, talking about how much he loves Philadelphia and all that. And really everything behind the scenes has been like, oh, yeah, we don't think he's going to be back here. Meanwhile, publicly, oh, Zach's a great player. We hope he plays here a long time. Exactly. But you know behind the scenes, it ain't that pretty.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem that I have with the situation is because of everything that you speak of. Because it's like publicly you're saying all the great, well, publicly you're trashing me.
Right.
Privately, I see you in the cafeteria. You're like speaking to, "Hey, Zach, how you doing?" I would be irritated by that.
I don't know anyone that could blame you. I want to talk baseball with you right now because I don't know what the Braves fans are doing right now, but Phillies fans right now feel like a run is right there for the taking, especially when it comes to running for the first place spot, the number one spot in the NL East. The Braves are having their issues, as we all know. They're a 500 ball club, as are the Braves in their last 10 games. But the Phillies are right there, 2 games behind the Mets. The Braves are 2 games behind the Phillies, 4 games out of first place. What are the Braves fans thinking right now? I know you just made a trade for Jock Peterson. What's the buzz in Atlanta regarding the Braves?
Right now, they're just trying to figure out what's going on with this team. Brian Snitker had a cut the other day where they asked him what was going on with the team. And Marc, I've never heard anybody so frustrated by not knowing what the hell was going on with his baseball club more so.
Oh,
I remember he was like, I don't know. Like, just trying to figure it out. Like, the bad part about it, 4 games out of first, right behind the Phillies. And it's one of those things, you get Jock Peterson to help out because Acuna's hurt. But it's one of those things where you look at it, you're like, as a former player, you have to hang on. You have to keep hope alive as far as what you want. What you want the season to potentially be. You dropped 2 this weekend. I forgot who they played, but they dropped 2. They were leading and they dropped 2 this weekend. So now you got the Padres coming into town, and I think it was Tampa Bay.
It was, yeah. You're right. The Rays.
It was Tampa Bay. So now you got the Padres coming into town, And then after that, you got the Mets coming into town. So it's one of those things where you got to make hay tonight. Tonight against the Padres, you got to make hay because you got the Mets coming into town, and if you can get a couple games on the Mets, you got a shot. But people are frustrated. People are saying one thing but doing something else. They're upset. They don't want to watch the Braves, but at the same time, you want to watch because you know that the season is still hanging in the balance.
Here's what you got. All right, here's what you got coming up for the Braves. You have a 3-game series starting tonight, as a matter of fact. At the time we air this, they're just throwing the first pitch. By the time we tape this, they're just throwing the first pitch, hosting the Padres for 3 games. Then 4 games at Philly. I knew that. I knew Philly was close on the schedule. Then 5 games against the New York Metropolitans.
Okay, so I missed the Philly. I forgot they got to play the Philly. So
Philly's first, yeah.
You have the potential in that stretch, but it has to get started tonight to make some hay. You have the potential because you got the 2 teams that are in front of you. You get to see. That's a tough spot. That's a tough spot to be in. So we're all just sitting back here, just looking to see what happens, and just hoping for the best. Because you know just as well as I do, Mark. You get in, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Look at the Bucks. The Bucks get into the playoffs. They sweep the Heat. Next thing you know, every net gets injured. The only guy that's 100% healthy is Kevin Durant. They beat them in 7 games. They squash a hot team in the Atlanta Hawks. Now they're in the NBA Finals, 1 win away from actually winning it.
1 win away, and Drew Holiday had the best 2-way game that you could possibly have the other night. So
no doubt, yeah.
Those things where everybody's talking about Chris Paul and how he's inconsistent and things of that nature. So yeah, the Bucks are in a good spot right now.
I have to ask you this because this is out there as well. It's one last thing for you here. The Deshaun Watson news. Apparently in the NFL, it's the quote unquote worst kept secret. Mike Tannenbaum of ESPN reported that last week, saying that the Eagles are just right there waiting to pounce to get Deshaun Watson in Philadelphia. Do you think that would be the right move by Philadelphia, considering it would probably cost you a couple of first-round draft picks at least? Mm-hmm. Or would you rather hang on to Jalen Hurts and see what you had and then use those picks, if it doesn't work out with Jalen Hurts, to then draft a quarterback? What do you make of that Deshaun Watson to the Eagles speculation?
I think that this has been talked about, Mark, for ever since the football offseason, the whole offseason. And it goes back to when Jalen Hurts was told that he had to start a job. And then they said, whoa, Playboy, not so fast. So I think that they do not have any faith in Jalen. Right. If I'm not mistaken, to this day, he has not been officially named the starter.
No, and I think what you're referencing is during the season they named him the starter because they benched Wentz, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, all offseason, we're not going to name a starting quarterback. It was all about competition.
Yeah, and so they're waiting. The Deshaun Watson story, a lot of people feel like he's going to get fined by the NFL. And he's probably going to have to sit a little bit. Mm-hmm. Right now, as it looks right now, Deshaun Watson's biggest thing or his biggest issue was let too many damn people in his circle, man. He let too many people in his circle, and he put himself in this position. How many damn masseuses do you need? I mean, seriously. Like, that just screams, regardless if it's right or wrong, it screams creepy. Mm-hmm. It just screams creepy to have that many people that you are affiliated with or come in contact with to massage you. Right. So, yeah, if anything, I mean, that's his biggest problem. But, yeah, I think that they will love him in Philadelphia. Once he gets past all his legal issues, or what if he has legal issues, once he gets past all of that, I think they'll love him in Philly. As long as he's winning, they'll take it.
Hugh Douglas III. Always a pleasure catching up with him. Oh, real quick, when we air this, tonight will be the Game 6 of the finals. Will there be a Game 7?
Yes.
Oh.
I just hope so, just because I haven't really tuned too much into it. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
I just want, I just feel bad for Chris Paul, man, because he went from one of the happiest persons on the planet to like, he's getting vilified in the media right now. Oh, you're garbage. You're falling apart. Yeah, I just want them to hold on a little bit longer, man.
Man. Hugh Douglas, happy Hughes Day to you, my friend. Thank you so much.
You guys, sir. Have a wonderful day.
You do, and have a great show right now airing on 92.9 The Game in Hotlanta. Hey, I'll talk to you next week. We'll talk a little Braves-Phillies, my friend.
All right. Yeah, it's going down.
Hugh Douglas III. Check him out. Big Hugh53 on the old Twitterverse. Thank you, Hugh.
Hey, thank you, man. Have a good one.
You as well. My thanks once again to our good friend Hugh Douglas III on this fine Hughes Day morning, joining us there on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. I had to ask Hugh about the NBA, and you could tell right there. I was like, hey, Hugh, is there going to be a Game 7? Yes. Really? Really? And then he's just like, I haven't been watching. Anyway, always great catching up with him. It's always a good time. As far as the Zach Ertz thing, I feel like more so in any other sport, it really applies to the NFL when there can be animosity between a player and the organization. And I feel like a lot gets said in the media. And here's the unfortunate thing about the NFL, but I think it's part of what makes it so compelling, is that the NFL, when you think about it, the 6 months of the season, it's mostly talk. It's mostly reporters digging for stories. It's mostly a team trying to control a message. There's one game a week. That's it. There's one game a week, and there's still 7 days surrounding that one game where we talk. We're just talk. It's just talking. When all that really matters is what's going on during the 60 minutes of football. That's it. But everything else is talk. So there's a lot of talking that goes on. And when it comes to a situation similar to Zach Ertz, where a player has pretty much admitted, I need a new deal. This deal's ridiculous, and I know I'm not going to get it here. And the Eagles are like, yeah, you're damn right, you're not going to get it here. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we got to move on. And the guy's still here. That's bonkers to me. So there's all this jibba jabba going on, and now it's like Zach Ertz is going to show up and be like, oh, hey guys, and then Howie and the front office are going to look at him and be like, yeah, good to see you. Thanks for coming. And that's the way it's going to go. And it seems like in football, more so than anything, that animosity can build faster than anything because there's very little play and a whole lot of talking going on. Anyway, my thanks again to Hugh for jumping on. And yeah, it seems like the Braves right now are in a spot where they're going to be grasping at straws to try to compete in this division. Now, they're 2 games behind the Phillies right now. And the spot that they're in is an interesting one when their manager is trying to – I saw the cut that he's talking about with Brian Snitker, the manager of the Braves, where they're asking him repeatedly kind of, what do you do to correct it? What's wrong? How did this happen? How did we get here? Why isn't this team better? That whole thing. And he does – and very rarely you see managers look completely dumbfounded because they're trying to cover for other people. You would think it would happen more often. But when it comes to Brian Snitker, he's just looking at it. He's just like, I don't know. Why is it happening? Beats me. So that's kind of the attitude that he took on during the interview that Hugh alluded to. Let me tell you right now about our friends at Rothman Orthopaedics, who brought us that fine interview and bring us the guest line every single day. When you have orthopedic issues, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopaedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past pain and be what you were. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopaedics, the official orthopedic partner of the Phillies, Eagles, and 76ers. And how about Steak and Maine? SteakandMaine.com. Oh, you're going to have a weekend coming up here if you're going to go down, maybe you go down to Ocean City, Maryland, maybe go down to Baltimore, maybe you're just traveling south. You know what you can do? You can stop by Steak and Maine in the heart of Northeast Maryland. Whether you dine in a more upscale steakhouse, their upscale steakhouse, or a casual bar and patio, you can enjoy the highest quality prime meats, fresh seafood, world-class oyster bar, and freshly prepared sushi. All that in an extensive wine list, including Cavada Cellars wines. Open every day for lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Steak and Maine in Northeast Maryland, voted #1 place for steaks in America by the Travel Channel and the Cooking Channel. Check them out for yourself at SteakandMaine.com. for more information. Oh, and if you're following all that's going on right now, we're going to have the expansion draft coming up, obviously, here in the NHL. The Vegas Knights, yeah, right. The Kraken will be released in the expansion draft of the NHL. Follow all the stuff going on with the Flyers, all the stuff going on throughout Philadelphia sports with the good people of PHLSportsNation.com. That's PHLSportsNation.com, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. Also, have to tell you about our friends at FanUp. I got some challenges in yesterday from some of you fine people. Thank you very much. Download the FanUp app in the App Store. Use promo code FANUP. That's promo code FANUP. And you can hit me up with some challenges on the FanUp app, win some great prizes for yourself, answer fun daily and weekly contests. You can enter them and rise on their leaderboard, get that point total up so you can be in on some of the great prizes that you can win. That's right, the FanUp app in the App Store. The days of playing fantasy sports alone are over, so make sure you have all the fun that you can have with the FanUp app. Download the FanUp app in the App Store, 2,000 bonus points right out of the gate just to get you started. Now it's time for our social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine at steakandmaine.com. You guys have been chomping at the bit all morning long, which I do appreciate. If you heard a cough going into that interview, for all you people, and Dan Schwartz are leading the league in comments, don't you worry, my friend. I have your photos ready. I have your photos at the ready for the morning rush. That'll be back-to-back shout-outs for our friend Dan Schwartz here. But here's what we got going on here. When I was coughing, I had one of those fun mornings yesterday. Mornings. I woke up from my siesta. So I tried to take a little snooze in the middle of the day there. And I woke up from it, and I felt like I didn't take any medicine or anything like that. I just felt like I had medicine head. So I got one of them really fun colds right now. One of them real fun. I fell in love with the air conditioning summer cold. So that's what's going on with me, despite your theories, you people. Benny's checking in. He let it off today. Says count seems suspect today. That's funny. Would love Buxton. I mean, look, if you're going to get him, then I'm going to be all optimistic. I just look at here. I'll rattle off what I'm talking about here. By the way, the Braves are 4.5 games out of first place now. They're 2 full games. They lost last night. 2 full games behind the Mets in first, or behind the Phillies, who are 2.5 games behind the Mets. What did I want to get for you here? I want to get you these numbers on Buxton if you haven't checked them out. Because if you go through his seasons, there's not a lot going on there when it comes to games played. And that's an issue. And this is the first year, because I remember when the Phillies were who was they about to trade? Right at the beginning of the rebuild. Right, but right at the end of when things were good in Philadelphia Phillies land. I remember looking up his numbers, and he was like number 1 prospect coming up. I think Baseball America had him ranked really high, if not the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. So he was really, really up there. And right now, if you go through his game totals throughout his season, throughout his entire career, 46, 92, 140, 28, 87, 39, 27. Like, there always seems to be an issue. And this is the first year that he's really, really been able to put everything together. Hitting 369, 409 on base percentage, and he also has 10 home runs on the season as well. So, like looking at it right now, even 27 games, it's like there always seems to be an issue. And that's the only thing. The talent is there. But as they say, the best ability is availability, and availability hasn't really been his moniker, unfortunately. But if you're talking to me about Chris Bryant, let's party with Chris Bryant. That's my number 1 right there. Mac is saying that Marte interests in him as well. It also interests me. April's checking in, saying good morning. April likes the picture of that Dan made, and we'll put that out for you in our morning rush in a second. What else do we have? Benny's checking in. Dave Dombrowski doesn't need a massage. I'm just being nice. Oh, Benny, I see your reasoning now, because he's friends with Robert Kraft. Okay, I get it. I believe on my old radio show, they referred to, one of our callers referred to Robert Kraft as the Boston Dangler, and I'll never forget it. What else do we have here? Robert Kraft. All right, I'm not reading that out loud. Thank you, Mac. But just know I thought it was funny. Julian, hey everyone. Blue Chew. Well, how the hell we get to? Oh, because we're still talking about Robert Kraft. Thank you. What do we have here? Today turned into a Robert Kraft day. Benny, it's not my birthday. It's Ben Simmons' birthday, but I think you know that. How did this birthday stuff start? Every night is Marc's birthday. He sleeps in his birthday suit. That is true. That is actually a fun fact about me. See what is God. This went off the rails quick, guys. Today's chat went off the rails quick, faster than always. But I see the Sealski shout-outs here. Look, even for you people that hate Mike Sealski, all right, you people, you have to read Mike Sealski's article in the Daily News today. Mike wrote the 5th grade play for Ben Simmons' birthday, and it includes the likes of Jimmy Butler. It includes the likes of Daryl Morey, Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, all trying to figure out what they're trying to get Ben Simmons for his birthday. It's a great 5th grade play. I highly recommend checking that out in the Daily News today by our friend Mike Sealski. Who knows? Maybe I'll ask Mike to come on tomorrow. Maybe we'll kick it around a little bit. Bryant's checking in saying, I want to punch Howie in the face, alluding to Hugh Douglas wanting to punch people. Let's see here. Speaking of massage, does Marc get his bald head? Nope, I do not get my head massaged. Thank you, Dan. Gabe's checking in. Need some steak. Who doesn't need some steak? I was going through a big carb thing last week. My wife wanted for the dads and the moms out there, for the parents out there. We went on that big Disney rant last week, talking about how Luca is the new movie out on Disney Pixar and all that stuff on Disney Plus, and whatever. So we went through the whole thing. Well, the pasta dish in there, the Trinetti al pesto. My wife looked at it and went, "I want that," and I was like, "Okay." So I made it. And I never made pesto before. I never made I don't come to think of it, I don't think I've ever made a Northern Italian dish before. And I made pesto for the first time. And the difference is like Northern Italian, what do you call it? Recipe called for one thing of garlic, like one little thing of garlic, like break it off and throw it in the blender to make the pesto and all that. And I was like, well, that's ridiculous. And I threw in a whole thing of it. It's like, that's how you do it. It was pretty good. It also has like the potatoes in it. But anyway, bottom line, it was really good. So I was on a big carb kick. I need more steak is what I'm saying right now. I tell you all that to tell you I just need more steak. April's checking in, trying to help out the planet by eating steak. That's what I do. I'm with you there. JD, your imagination is burning. I can't imagine what about. Does Space Jam 2 suck? I haven't seen it. April also thinks one clove of garlic is ridiculous. I agree. Thanks to everyone that took part in our social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine and SteakandMaine.com. Let's roll now into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. I'll lead it off with our friend Dan Schwartz. I'm just minding my own damn business, scrolling Twitter yesterday when I see this pop up. Dan, what the hell is this, my friend? One morning. Now, for all you people that think I'm some kind of pothead and I enjoy the ganj, right? Dan decided to add this to me hanging out at Kids Castle in Doylestown, where I grew up. Not at Kids Castle, but I grew up in Doylestown. First off, this, like the body type and my face, like Dan, I don't know if you've ever met my brother, but you might as well have just made a picture of me as my brother minus the cigarette. Because that's my brother's build. And downright to his shoes, as a matter of fact. But good artwork by you, Dan. Good artwork by you. Yeah. Thank you for that. Saquon Barkley's fighting his way back from injury, and he's doing so at a kids' camp. If you haven't seen this yet, here it is. Saquon gets burned by a 6-year-old, I believe. Look at this.
Quick. Down. Sit. Pike. That's it. Now he's working. Now. Get back up.
Oh, get up.
Just look at the first 2 seconds of that.
Quick. Down. Sit. Pike. That's it. Now he's working. Now. Get back up.
What the hell, Saquon? Look, I know it wasn't malicious, but you shove the kid to the ground like that? Huh? I know it's still 5 yards, so you're still within your right. But no, in all seriousness, good on that kid. Goes the old 5-hole on Saquon Barkley as my microphone freaks the heck out. So that's good. That's nice to see. Can the Eagles sign that kid? I just want to make the obvious joke there that they need to bring him in as soon as humanly possible. That'd be great to see. Something else I wanted to get into our morning rush. Obviously, we have the NBA Finals going on tonight. 9:00 tip-off in Milwaukee. One of my favorite things to say out loud is that the last time that the Bucks won a championship, They were led by a 33-year-old Oscar Robertson, and they were led by a 24-year-old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And now they're on the precipice of making another championship. They're only their second championship in all their years of existence. I think they've been around since 1966-ish, I think. So they're going for the championship tonight. Chris Paul, obviously in a spot where a lot of people have a lot of their piping hot takes about Chris Paul, riding on tonight. And I can't help but notice Stephen A. Smith talking about it, how, if he doesn't win, he's not going to be in my top 5. Top 5 point guards all time. One game's going to decide that. A championship run's going to decide that. That one championship run is going to decide that. I don't think so. I'm hoping there's a game 7, simply because I'm still rooting for the Suns. I'm just blown away by how good the Bucks have been in this series, especially since the first 2 games. They've won 3 in a row. Giannis Antetokounmpo has just been incredible. Drew Holiday, I couldn't be happier for in terms of the player that he's developed in since he was traded away to start the process all those years ago. So I think the Bucks wrap it up tonight on their home court. I'm rooting for a game 7, but I think with the way the Bucks have played over the last 3 games, it's going to be hard to stop that momentum on their home court. So, dare I say it one more time, Bucks in 6. And I'll chug a beer to celebrate that. It's with a heavy heart, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't get to it on Monday, but I want to finish off our show with, as well as I want to finish off the Morning Rush segment with a shout out to DJ Biz Markie. Biz Markie. Biz Markie. I want to shout out to him. I passed away over the weekend at the age of 57, complications of diabetes. And I loved the fact that he was a Sixers fan. And I loved the fact that if you went to a Sixers game and you were lucky enough to be at a game with him in attendance, which there was a lot of, he went to a lot of Sixers games, and it happened on more than one occasion. Anytime he was at a Sixers game, they, of course, would put him up on the Jumbotron, put him up on Fanavision, and you would see him just kind of like eating a bag of, thing of popcorn, whatever it might have been. And then they would start playing Just a Friend. And if you haven't shouted at the top of your lungs, "Oh, baby, you got what I need," and you say he's just a friend, and you tell me he's just a friend. "Oh, baby, you got what I need." If you haven't shouted that, I question whether or not you're American. That's all I'll say. I think it should be on the citizenship test. All right, right before you leave, the president of the United States, first president of the United States, George Washington. Okay. Please give me the refrain. Please give me the chorus of Just a Friend by Biz Markie. Thank you very much. You may enter the country, and you're here for good now. I think that needs to happen. And I was reminded of this yesterday when I saw our beloved Allen Iverson post this on his social media. I had never seen this before. I'm guessing AI just had this on his phone. And decided to put it out there for all to see in tribute to Biz Markie.
Practice? I talk about practice.
I need it again.
Practice? I talk about practice.
Oh, baby, you got what I need. And you say he's just a friend. And you say he's just a friend. Oh, baby, you got what I need. R.I.P. R.I.P. Biz Markie. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. We have always a great time with you. Looking forward to talking to you tomorrow's show as well. We'll have some more Dame Lillard conversation, I'm sure, and we'll be talking hopefully about a Phillies victory over the New York Yankees. So hopefully we'll get that underway tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Hyden produced the program, always does a phenomenal job as a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. My name is Marc Farzetta here at the Steven Singer Studios. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Take it easy, everybody.